So recently I came across a video on the art of asking and how to get whatever you want. I found the topic very interesting and I'd like to share the ideas. So firstly is the art of asking. So we don't get what we deserve in life, but we get what we ask for, because only once we ask for something then we will get it. So many people think asking makes them look weak or needy, or that they're incapable of doing anything by themselves. But in reality, like, they often confuse like asking with begging, because in begging, like, people, both the person begging and the person like the giver, they have low trust between them, because the person begging, they don't have any, like, they have very low self-worth, so there's like a power imbalance, because the giver has more power than the beggar. And they're often like very like, yeah, they're often like, the beggar's often seen as like weak or lazy. But when asking, it's different, because the asker knows their value and their self-worth, and by asking, it also helps the giver have a sense of empowerment and worth as well, because the asking is asking for help, which the giver can provide, and that the power are both equal, and the asker is seen as confident and it's respected. So if you don't ask, then nothing will change, and because no one can like read your mind and know what you need unless you speak it out and say something about it. So an example of this is on another talk at Google I saw by Amanda Palmer, and she was talking about how about her mum. So her mum worked as like a computer scientist in like the olden times, I guess, and back then women didn't really like, they weren't seen like working as much, and there were only two other women in the company, and the boss would always give the men the paychecks like straight away, but give the woman paychecks like months later. So one day, like, the mom just called the boss, and she was like, what are you having for dinner today? And the boss was like, what? And then she was like, yeah, what are you having for dinner, because I don't have any money right now, because you haven't given me my paycheck. So if you don't give it to me, we're all coming over to your house, and I'm bringing all my children to go and eat dinner. And remember that I don't like carrots or peas or whatever. And then so in the end, the boss gave her the paycheck like the next day. And so it was only because her mom actually asked that the situation changed for the family, and that they actually got like a lot of food to eat, because like the boss just assumed that, oh, she has a husband providing for them, so they don't need the money as much as the other men. But yeah, so nothing changed unless she like actually asked. And the mom was also picturing how the children would actually have like lots of food to eat, and maybe they can go to a fancy restaurant after she asked. So only after she actually believed in it, then she had like enough determination to actually go through with the action and ask. So also to like, basically we should like train your mind to believe that you deserve better and that you deserve more, because if, yeah, as I mentioned before, if you don't believe that you if you don't believe that you deserve better, then you'll never ask for better and never like receive it. So many people might sit quietly and wait for opportunities to come their way, and say they're fine when they're not. But there's like this story that you might have heard of, about this guy who was like drowning in the sea, and basically a boat came over to ask if he needed any help and if he was okay. But he was like, no, it's fine, God will save me. And then another boat came a while later, and he was struggling even more then. And then they asked if he needed help, and he was like, no, leave me, God will help me. And then finally the third boat came, and the man was like really tired at that point, and he was like, they asked him for help, like they asked if he needed help too, and he was just like, nah, it's fine, God will help me. And in the end he died, and then God was like telling him, oh, you're so stupid, I sent those 3 boats to help you, why didn't you accept my help? So you can't just like sit quietly and wait around for opportunities to come and then like just not take them, like the the drowning man did. And that, yeah, basically just like yeah, don't just wait for opportunities. You actually need to like grab them and act towards them. Yeah, because you need to take action. So yeah, instead of just like waiting around, we have to like work on thinking, because thinking shapes everything else and all of our actions as well. So most people like don't feel like enough. They live like they don't count. They never put their hands up to say anything because they're afraid of like what other people might think, because they think that they're not like good enough, and they like shrink into the shadows and apologize for taking up space. But then that's not really a nice way to think, because they think like just like because like stop thinking like you're unworthy of anything and unworthy of help or unworthy of like success, and instead just like yeah, be bold and stand up to yourself, like to the inner voices in your head, and say like I deserve a better life, and I'll start asking for it, because like the sea is like an like it's like success and happiness is like the sea. It's like unlimited, and anyone can basically get it, but only like once you open your mind and your heart, then you can go and get it. Because some people just go up to the sea with like a teaspoon, but you have to like bring your own container, like a big bucket, so you'll be able to get the most out of it. So everyone is born with loads of potential, but if you don't believe in your potential, then it's going to just be the same as nothing, because you'll never like act on it. So for example, like I'm sure you know like about the famous tennis players like Venus and Serena Williams. When they were like younger too, they had a lot of potential and their dad really believed in it, so he would go and try and get them lots of opportunities so that they would be able to like be able to play and actually like get a coach as well. And they ended up actually like they believed that they could do it, and ended up being like one of the most like two of the most like famous tennis players in the world. So basically yeah, once you speak up and start like asking more, it can also build your self-worth. So don't stay silent just to keep the peace between two people, and instead just like speak about what you think first. And yeah, also raise the standard to yourself, because asking isn't a burden, and it's not like a bother to others. It's a right, and everybody deserves to be able to ask without feeling like they're a burden. It's just like how when everyone is a baby, because like they need the mother's milk, right? So we'll all like ask, like cry and ask for the mother's milk, and then eventually we'll get it, because it's just to survive. And so yeah, don't expect others to read your mind and just step up, because no one can know exactly what you're thinking or exactly what you need. And like every morning, like stand in front of the mirror and make eye contact with yourself and just say, I'm not here to live small, and I'm here to grow. And because no one gets what they want by waiting around, like I said before with the boat. And that the habit, oh yeah, once you have like the habit of thinking you're not good enough, you can't break that habit unless you replace it with something else. So that every time like you doubt yourself or think you're not good enough, instead replace it with a stronger thought, and like yeah, fight back against like the doubt in your head. And once you like feed your like strength, and like your confidence will eventually build, and you carry yourself differently, so you're able to make stronger decisions and like grab more opportunities. And yeah, if you like just start now, then it can change the way you see yourself and how you lead your life moving onwards. And because we're all like here to ask, and if you believe that you can get something deep enough, you always find a way to get it. So everything just begins in the mind, and like just like train the mind and strengthen it to be able to like believe that you're worth more. So secondly is ask about thinking. So Ask without thinking that it bothers others, because most people will hold back when asking because they believe that they're like a burden and they're bothering other people. But like it's not, yeah, it's like when you're scared to ask, it's not only your mind, also the body that can feel the effects. Like your chest might tighten and you might feel like a lump in your throat, and then that might cause you to hesitate and pull back. But it's not out of politeness, but more out of fear. So like the fear of rejection, or being seen as too much, being seen as needy, or like, yeah, just like fear of being seen that you're not capable. So instead of asking, many people might be quiet and silent as well. But this is actually like not that good, because it can delay your dreams and hide your potential, and like just make it so that you can't really achieve anything you want. So many people like might have like great ideas or something real to actually offer the world, but they have the false belief that speaking up is selfish and that asking is weak and like needy, so that eventually these ideas just don't get shared. So for example, like in my physics class, sometimes I have like really like good ideas about like machines, but I'm always too afraid to speak it up because I'm scared of what other people think. But maybe, and then like my ideas will generally just like gradually just fade away. But in fact, if I had shared those ideas, maybe like at then I could like talk to my classmates about it and they'd have even better ideas as well. So yeah, asking takes strength, and not everyone is comfortable with like just asking. So just like don't be afraid really to step out of your comfortable zone and ask. And we should like reprogram the way you see ask and break the mental link between asking and problem. So just like don't think about like the results at first, just like ask. Once you have a question, just like ask it straight away. Just like how like baby don't ask for like permission or approval to like drink, like to get milk, they just immediately start crying to ask for it. So yeah, just like ask straight away, because then it can help you break that mental barrier towards like actually asking. Because asking is also a form of action. So like the more you ask, the more you can grow, because nobody can go through life alone by themselves, and everyone depends on others. So basically, by putting yourself out and like raising your hand and asking simple, direct and clear questions, it can really improve your life basically. And so on your questions, remember to be clear and don't expect others to guess the hints, because it's not like strategy where you just say a bunch of vague information and they have to try and piece everything together, because that is like passiveness and it leads to like resentment. So yeah, so set boundaries to like be able to like make sure your questions are clear. So for example, like once like last summer, my cousin came over from China, and we were walking by the river and we saw like a tennis table, and there were two guys already playing, and I asked them if we could play, and I asked them if we could play for like 30 minutes, because my cousin had just come from China and he doesn't get this opportunity very often. But if I had just asked them, oh, can you just play, then they need to think, oh, how long do they want to play, or like why do they need to play, and they ask lots of questions that I didn't like answer basically. And once you're clear, they also know what to expect, they're more likely to agree as well. So thirdly is no is better than silence. So even if someone says no and like rejects like whatever question you're asking, at least it gives you clarity and feedback, and it tells you that they refuse for a reason and where to go next. But if you're silent and never asking the question, it keeps you guessing for what their response will be, and it will waste time, whereas even no gives you a direct answer. So to ask clearly, you have to be able to think clearly too, because before you ask clearly, you need to think about what you want exactly from it in your brain first. So this will eventually like lead to better self-awareness and sharpen your mind to think better as well. So yeah, as I mentioned before, everyone has a right to ask and to try. So what we ask for reflects our standards, so don't lower it for others, and instead, if someone just says no, then just move on and continue asking others. So for example, like my dad was telling me about this like digital marketing strategy where like if like 5% of people respond and you send like 100 like emails, then like around five you'll get around 5 yeses as well. So also if you wanted to like to get 10,000 yeses, for example, all you need to do is send like 20 times as much emails to them. So yeah, some people like are limit themselves towards safe inside their comfortable zone, and they're scared to like step out. But good things often like lie on the other side of discomfort, and once you ask a lot of times, eventually this repetition will cause it to become a habit, and it's way easier to continue doing that eventually. But yeah, fourth is just to speak it anyways, because many people feel like when they ask for something, then other people will look down upon them and it makes them seem vulnerable. But actually, it's the opposite, because people will respect you more because you're more honest, and they respect the honesty and the confidence and the clarity that it took into asking the question, and it can also build trust. And even if they say no, it will also help build a relationship, because they will feel good that they have the power to say no towards you, so they will also feel like more powerful as well. Fifth is like stop waiting for permission. So yeah, stop waiting for the right time, because nobody is going to come and give success or any opportunities to you, and you have to like do it yourself. And if you don't grab the opportunities or get them to like by asking, and if you wait too long for just waiting for the right time, then somebody else will come along and get the opportunity instead of you. So yeah, because life will just move on, and people and time and opportunity will pass all the time. So an example of this is, like I said, like Venus and Serena Williams was like their father. The dad, he like when they were first starting out, he literally just barged into the middle of a lesson with like their professional tennis coaches giving like the top players in the world. Then he just like barged in and asked him immediately to like watch his daughters play, and in the end that actually worked, and the coach ended up accepting the girls as his students for free as well. And it might seem like what the dad did was very rude, which it was, because it was in the middle of a private lesson, but that was the only way he was going to get any opportunity to help his daughters to actually become like world stars. And yeah, so he managed to like just grab the opportunity. And that, so basically, before you ask before you're prepared, even when you're unsure, because people who do that often get ahead because they have many opportunities waiting for them that they've already grabbed before they're ready. And basically, the need for permission like often brings in fear of judgment, that you're seen as too pushy or ungrateful, but this belief will actually stop you and hesitate or delay, which causes you to become more used to not asking, and like this will become a habit of not asking, which just snowballs really, and waiting only gives you doubt, regret, and no actually gives feedback on your question. So sixth is ask for it. So if you know what you want specifically and it's honest and it's fair, just ask, and don't try to explain yourself to everyone who like might not understand your goals, and don't wait for everyone to understand. Just like how like Serena and Venus Williams' like dad, he immediately knew that he wanted his daughters to have a coach, so he just went and asked. And where everyone's like taught at a young age to follow rules and wait like our turn in school, and only speak when like the teachers ask you to. but only you yourself can change your life by and no one else can help you do it. 7th is learn how people think. So some people only focus on what they want instead of what it demands from other people as well, which is a very one-sided mindset. So you should step into the other person's shoes as well and see it from their point of view, because in this way it can build trust and better connection, because everybody sees the world in their own way and value different things differently. So what may seem like a small ask to you might be a huge pressure towards them. For example, if you ask a friend to take care of a pet while you go on holiday for a week, maybe it's just a small thing for you because you already know very well how to take care of the pet and it's become daily routine. But to a friend who doesn't really know how to take care of it, it might be a huge pressure towards them. And so you better observe before you speak and think about what type of person you're talking to shape your ask to match their mind and the way that they think, and to fit their values and raise the odds of them actually agreeing and saying yes to your question. So this isn't really manipulation, but it's more respect, because you're actually taking the time to better understand the person you're talking to increase the chances of them saying yes. 8 is understand, not assume. So don't assume that people see things the way that you do or care about the exact same things you do. So first, just warm up the relationship between the two of you so you get a better judgment of the other person before you ask your question. So take the time to understand first. 9 is remove the fear of no. So many people, once they hear no, they decide that the door is closed forever and they might stop asking. But that's not actually failure, because it just might not be the right person, the right time, or the right way that you ask it. And instead of seeing it as rejection, just see no as a direction to point you in the right way. Because if someone refuses, then another person might agree and you stop wasting time focusing on the person that already refused. So it's also just I mentioned before, the 5%, if 5% of people agree to respond to your emails, then it's a number game, and if you just follow the formula, then the math will never lie, and as long as you just send more emails, eventually you'll get more replies too. So the reason that most people are afraid of no is because when you're rejected or say no, then it also, the same part of your brain which responds when you get physically hurt responds when you hear no, which is why people often try to avoid it. And lastly, no is not the end, because it can actually lead to growth, because after you hear no, then just keep on asking, and it also it gives more clarity and teaches you to teaches you where to go next. And instead of seeing no as failure and just giving up on your question completely, instead just see it as sort of stepping stone towards getting what you want in the end, and success. And since the pain response in your brain to hearing no is just a response, where it's we're able to rewire that and eventually become kind of immune to that pain after we've heard no enough time. So just don't be afraid of hearing that. So in conclusion, I think the main points to take away are that firstly, that to ask clearly, first you have to be able to think clearly first to know exactly what you want and your question, which can increase your self-awareness and sharpen your mind. And secondly is that don't wait for the right time, because nobody is going to come over and hand success over to you. You need to actually do it yourself by taking the initiative to ask questions and just grab opportunities when they come and before you're ready. And lastly, that Yeah, instead of seeing no as like rejection, just continue asking and see it as a direction to point you forward and to grow. And to like, yeah, don't be afraid of hearing no, basically. And so I hope you learned something from today. That's all. Bye.